introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Angie Starnes.
I'm Carrie Starnes.
And I'm Jeff Thaxton.
Shannon Thaxton, Public Speaking 1315, Persuasive Speech. Death and taxes. Two things that are certain in life, right? Not necessarily. Now, no one's learned how to cheat death just yet, but there are plenty of people who cheat taxes. And what comes to your mind when you hear the words or the letters IRS? I'm sure it's nothing good. We don't love thinking of the IRS. Well, I'm here today to lay out a case for a major overhaul of the IRS and a complete change in the way that we pay taxes in this country. Though many of us do our best to file honest and tax returns, there are many in this country who either don't or get around paying the taxes that they actually owe. I don't know how that makes you feel, but personally, I don't like feeling like I'm getting stuck with the bill. I mean, I'm not going to go to a restaurant and pay the bill for everybody there, so why should that be any different in this country? The 2010 census showed the population in the U.S. to be around 309 million. Now, of course, not all 309 million are going to file a return, but you would think that those over the age of 18 probably should. Well, statistically, only about 75% did. Of the 75% that filed, only 58% paid any taxes. The other 42% either didn't pay at all or ended up getting money back. And we've all heard from political conservatives that the top 50% in this country pay 98% of the taxes. Well, that's not a figure just made up by the fiscal conservatives to, stir up emotions for their, base. It's an actual statistic you can find on the IRS website. But even still, somehow many people aren't happy with that. They think those people need to be paying more. We also can't address the need for tax reform without taking into account illegal immigrants. It's estimated that there are about 10.8 million illegal immigrants currently residing in the U.S., most of those being from Mexico. The tax-paying citizens of the United States are not only footing the bill for the U.S. citizens that aren't paying for whatever reason, but we're also paying for the health and the education of these illegal immigrants and their children. Under the current system, they're never going to pay any taxes at all. The fight waged every election year is, raise taxes, lower taxes, let's restructure the taxes. Oh, they need to pay more. No, they need to pay less. But nobody can agree, so what's the answer? Well, I'm here to propose that the real solution is in implementing a national sales tax and doing away with income taxes and payroll taxes completely. Under the system we currently have, the lowest tax bracket is 15%. So you're going to pay 15% if you're in the lowest tax bracket. Everyone is also going to pay 7.65% in payroll taxes. That's just going to be held out of your check. Comes to approximately 23%. So fairtax.org has come up with a solution that I think sounds pretty good. They're saying do away with income tax, do away with payroll taxes, and just implement 23% national sales tax on the sales of new goods and taxable services. Doing so would ensure that everyone pays some taxes, but we'd all be in control of how much we actually pay. At the same time, it automatically reduces government spending by greatly reducing the size and the scope of the IRS. There would also be a system in place to offer tax deferment to the poor so that they're not unduly burdened. The national sales tax system is the only system that really, truly makes sense and cannot be cheated. No tax attorney, no good accountant's going to get you out of paying a sales tax at the register. Just not going to happen. Some are going to argue, like I said, that it's going to unfairly burden the poor, but as I said, they're going to be able to apply for tax deferment status. Others are going to say the rich are getting off easy. But who spends the most? The rich. They have more money, they spend more money, they pay more taxes, more money's going back into the economy. Those with more money are still going to be contributing way more than everybody else. Not only does this system provide fairness, but it's also greatly uncomplicated. No more tax filings, no more tax season headaches, no more threats of audits. I can only imagine also the amount of trees and money that we saved every year just by cutting out all the paperwork required by the IRS. We e-file, and this is still, copies that we just, we still have to have. So that's with electronic filing. This national sales tax system is the only solution, or is the only thing that would offer a solution to the economic problem accompanying illegal immigration. Because regardless whether they're wanting to contribute to our economy or not, they're going to be paying a national sales tax at the register just like everyone else. Unlike U.S. citizens, however, they will not be allowed to apply for economic hardship and get the tax deferment status that U.S. citizens would. So that may also be a little bit of a deterrent in the future for illegal immigration, because they're going to be paying hefty taxes, and they maybe will seek legal status instead of being here illegally. So what about money? After all, that's all it boils down to is tax revenue. Well, this system has been shown by many independent statisticians to provide as much, if not more, revenue to the U.S. system as the current system does. Not only that, it cuts down on the government spending, thus putting the country on a path to a balanced budget and reducing the national debt. Well, as you can see, this system is not going to be a cure-all for all of our national, ills, but it would help eliminate inequality in our current tax system and prevent would-be taxpayers from dodging the system. I really don't understand why more people aren't on board with something like this. It seems so simple, almost stupidly simple, really. The only thing I can think of, this is just my personal opinion, is that no politician wants to be the bad guy. No politician wants to be put in charge of cutting jobs, cutting government spending, which you would be. You're going to be cutting IRS jobs in order to cut spending. But it's necessary. And so many people think, well, it's crazy for government to cut things and to actually work on a balanced budget like the rest of us. Well, I believe I've heard the definition of crazy as being doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I think that's where our country is right now. We're just stuck in a crazy cycle. Well, imagine with me, if you will, a few things. Imagine getting your entire paycheck instead of one that's already been reduced by 7.65% every time you get it. Imagine April 15th being just another spring day instead of the dreaded day it has become. Imagine being in control of how much you pay in taxes by either spending more or spending less, because you would be in control of the system. Imagine our country returning once again to the economic superpower that it once was, and we have lost our status. Right now, unfortunately, all I can imagine is a future of economic uncertainty for our country and for our children. Implementing a national sales tax would be a step in the right direction of reducing government spending, one day having a balanced budget once again, and actually reducing our national debt. It's time to get out of this crazy cycle and get this country and this economy growing once again.